Okay, it's time to do a late melee walkthrough of the new extreme, Recollection, or is Lenia. I actually tried doing this in week one, but I kind of stopped because strategies were kind of all up in the air in week one, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I just recorded this in a random farm group that I just did. Let's try and make this as quick as possible. If you haven't seen my videos before, this is not a full-on guide, this is a melee walkthrough. If you want a full-on guide, then I suggest looking at Hector's video or any one of the many raid plans. There's a lot of different strategies, but the strategies used in this video, in my opinion, are probably the most consistent farm strategies. I'll explain that as we go. So, here we go. I am going to be melee 2 in this video, and I'm playing ninja, and I'm really bad at ninja, so don't judge my ninja play. Most of this fight is really just memorizing 6 different patterns on the floor and knowing where to stand in that pattern. But we'll get there as we go. So, first phase is fairly easy. So, this first mechanic here, you see some people have big circles and some people have little circles. The big circles are actually donuts. So when they go off, you're just going to stand still. There's also going to be towers spawning. There's going to be a tower in all of the intercardinals. As a melee, we're just going to take whatever tower is in our clock spot. So you can see I have a big one. And you can stand right inside the tower and still hit the boss. The people with the... If you had a little one, when this goes off, there's no safe spot in the middle. So you're just going to walk out of it. You watch there. They go off, and it's just pulsing damage. And I don't know if you noticed it, but like the tank was in melee range, and he just walked out of it. And this is actually a safe spot, even though it looks like chaos. There's going to be tethers. Those are just tank busters. Try and help your tanks out. Don't move around too much so they can take the tethers. And then it's going to be Escalon's Fall. This is going to happen frequently in the video, or in the fight rather. So Escalon's Fall is going to be 4 cones. And if you take 2 cones in a row, you die. And she's going to have this marker above her head or inside of her head, and basically this is going to show who she's targeting with the cones. So if this has 3 squares that are close set together, it's going to target the closest people, and if the squares are far from each other, it's going to target the farthest people. The way we solve this is really simple. We are always going to have either supports or DPS in or out. In order for simplicity, DPS are always going to start in with this strategy. So when I say in, I mean inside the hitbox. So we can see the hitbox here. I am inside the hitbox, and when I say out, I mean outside the hitbox over there. So the second marker comes out, and now you can see the second marker is far. So here's the deal. Here's an easy way to think about this. It's always either going to be stay, swap, stay, or the opposite. Swap, stay, swap. If the first 2 markers are different, so this time they're different because it was close and then it was far, judging by, you know, these diamonds. If it's different, then you're going to stay, swap, stay, because the boss is going to alternate for you for the first one. If it's the same, so if it was close diamonds and close diamonds for the first 2, then it's going to be swap, stay, swap. And I normally call this out audibly while I'm doing it. So because this was different, it's going to be stay, swap, stay. So you only have to pay attention to the first 2. And we'll call it out. First one goes out, stay. Second one goes out, swap. See, we swapped. And stay. It might break your brain the first few times you do it, but you'll get used to it. If you just say stay, swap, stay, or swap, stay, swap. Say that audibly, it helps a lot. You all know what a stack marker is. And then we have an add phase. So the boss is going to become untargetable, and all DPS are going to head towards the B marker, or in other words, east. There's going to be an add north and south of that area, and we just have to kill these. One other thing is going to happen while that happens. An add is going to spawn and tether somebody. So, a few things here. You see this person just got tethered, right? And the boss, or the add, is going to face that person. That person has to stand either north or south to make the sword point out. Because the boss is going to cleave whatever side her sword is pointed to. The other people, the other 3 DPS on this side, they're just going to soak this tower. So there's a tower here, there's 3 things in it, which means it needs 3 people. So we have the sword pointing out, and we have 3 DPS here, and we're just going to hit the add. And the tower's going to alternate, and every DPS is going to get a tether at some point. You can see here, they point the sword out, we take the tower, we hit the add. I get the tether here, and you can see here, I'm in melee range of the add, so I can keep hitting the add, and the sword is still pointing out. Of course, the add's about to die. And then after like the 4th one, you can just go and help the other side. This group has good DPS, so it died pretty quick. Also, you want to save your 2-minute cooldowns for when the boss becomes targetable again. Alright, and now we get our first roses, or bloom rather. So this is what I meant when I said you're just going to have to memorize patterns on the floor. Bloom 1 is super easy. There's only 2 patterns for this. Bloom 1 goes out, there's patterns on the floor. So here's what we're looking for. There's going to be 3 empty, kind of, I guess, they're not squares, but like pizza slices. They're either going to be from close to B, going this way, or it's going to be close to A, going that way. Those are the only 2 patterns. And those are the directions that you're going to go. And you don't even have to remember the directions, because the boss is going to show you. So the boss is rotating that way, and there's a safe places going that way, so we are going to stand here and follow the AoEs that way. Basically, whenever the boss hits some red on the floor, the red explodes, so you can't stand on the red. Just going to follow that up. Sorry for the video quality. I just got a new computer and all my settings got reset, so I need to make that better. Once the AoEs stop, we spread. I'm a ninja, so I just teleport over there. Okay, then we have a room-wide AoE. And then we're gonna get Bloom 2. Bloom 2 is really fast, and it's probably gonna take you a few tries to, like, see it. But here's what we're looking at. So notice that there's 1 on the inside, and then there's 2 on the other side, and then there's 1 on the outside and 2 on the other side. We're gonna wait for the first AoE. So this is either gonna be a donut or a point blank. So we see that it's a donut, and you want to go to the safe side that only has 1 safe tile. So we're gonna go over here. If it was a point blank, then we would have gone over here. Okay, and we're just gonna kind of look at the order of operations here. So first, we go to the first safe tile on one side. So it's gonna be east-west, by the way. And then, as we're doing this, we notice that on the outside, these 2 tiles, this one's gonna explode first, and this one's gonna explode second. So that means after the first AoE, the first flash, we're just going to step back. And then once this zone becomes safe, we're going to move over. And it could be the opposite. You just have to pay attention to the order. So first flash, move back, then move over. And you can still hit the boss from here. There's a few different combinations of that, but the same concept will fix all of them. Are you in or you're out? And are you... I think slow or fast is how my brain kind of processes that. Bloom 3. Bloom 3 creates a relative north. So relative north, you're going to see this... There's two bad pizza slices here, right? So the safe spot in between those two, in the middle, is relative north. All right? Once you find what relative north is, we're going to move. We're melee 2. And a few things are going to happen here. You notice everyone kind of pre-positions. Hold on. There we go. Everyone kind of pre-positions. So, either all supports or all DPS are going to get a flower above their head, a bloom above their head. Whoever gets the flower, they're going to drop them. If you're melee 1, you drop your flower here. If you're melee 2, you drop your flower here. If you don't get a flower, then you're going to soak a tower. And you soak a tower by standing in the red that the tower is connected to. So if you're melee 1 and you don't have a flower above your head, you soak this tower. If you're melee 2 and you don't have a flower above your head, you soak here. It'll make sense in a second. Okay, there's the towers. And I have a bloom. So I'm going to drop my bloom where I said before. Once I drop my bloom, I just move out of the red and I DPS the boss. If I didn't have a bloom, I'd be soaking I'd be soaking the south tower because I'm melee 2. This is a really good fight to have a raid plan open on your second monitor just to like look at diagrams. This might be a bad one to have a melee walkthrough of because diagrams really help this one. Excuse me. Okay, we're gonna have... Okay, so a few things are gonna happen here. The same Escalon's Fall is gonna happen as before. DPS are always gonna start in no matter what. But now you see that there are more donuts. If you have a donut, just walk all the way out on your clock position. When the donut starts, walk straight through it. It doesn't give you a damage down, and we're using a bunch of mitigation anyway, so you're going to be fine. If you don't have a donut, just stack middle no matter what, and that's it. That's all it is. This is brain dead. So everyone who doesn't have a donut stacks middle, we mitigate through that, and then the Escalon's Fall continues as normal. So DPS always start in, and it's either going to be a stay, swap, stay, like this example, or it's going to be the opposite. We all know what a stack marker is. All right, Bloom 4. So Bloom 4, there's going to be basically 4 pizza slices that are all empty. That's the side that you start. If you're melee 1, you're going to stand here. If you're melee 2, you're going to stand here. If you get a flower above your head, you stay and you drop your flower there. If you don't get a flower above your head, you're just going to go up north and you're going to spread. But the big thing here is, see these circles? Every player that doesn't have a flower is going to get one of these circles. If any part of your circle touches any of this red or that red, you're going to wipe. Everyone dies. So I have a flower in this example. everyone else gets a circle, and everyone spreads with their circle far away. Now, once you drop your flower, you're just going to move to the other side. Everyone stacks here, and the supports and the DPS are going to get tethered together. Some people always have supports go left, DPS go right. This group is true north, so DPS are always going to go to the B marker. I think true north is probably better, just so, you know, it's just easier to say, go to the B marker, especially if you're farming this 99 times. And that's the mechanic. There's a lot of little details of how the mechanics work for this one. Again, if you want like a detailed guide on how technically everything works, go watch a detailed guide. This is just a walkthrough. Alright, so we're going to do Escalon's Fall again, but well, ads are going to spawn north and south. So as you're doing Escalon's Fall, you can see this sword started glowing, and it's on the right side. So that side's going to explode. So you got to dodge this, then do Escalon's Fall like normal, and then you're going to dodge whatever the second one is. So it's going to be a stay, swap, stay, because we're paying attention to the markers in the boss. We dodge the first cleave, go to the position, DPS always start in. Do the stay, swap, stay, wait for the last one, and then dodge the second cleave. I got a little trigger happy there. Now this group has good DPS, so I'm actually going to limit break here. Most groups save the limit break to cheese the Bloom 6, but you don't even need limit break to cheese Bloom 6. You just have to throw a bunch of mitigation at it and you'll be fine. Alright. Bloom 5. There's only 2 patterns for this, okay? I'm starting south right now. Blades are either going to spawn here or here. If they spawn here, we're going to start over here. And if they spawn here, we're going to start over there. Okay, so blade spawned on the east side, so we're going to start over there. Then, once the blades spawn, you need to figure out, are you going to start out or in? So, the middle is going to explode first because of the lightning, so we're going to start out. If we start out, we end in. Okay? So this looks like a lot, but here's how it's going to work. And so it's going to be the same depending on where you're standing. So we started out. Once the first AoE goes out, we're going to go diagonal. And we're going to go in. I'm a ninja, so I think I'm going to teleport. First AoE goes out. And we go in. And you can just run. I usually pop sprint if I'm not a ninja. And that's the whole mechanic. And the boss just dies because we're on like week 4. People have gear. There's really only one more mechanic after that, and that's Bloom 6, and people cheese it. I have a raid plan here. So Bloom 6. Lots of stuff is going to happen, but as it's going on, basically you just have to pay attention to one thing. Do you have a flower, or do you not? If you have a flower, melee 1 is going to drop their flower here. Melee 2 is going to drop their flower here, just like this picture. If you don't have a flower, you're going to take a tower. So the towers are these red tiles, not pink tiles. So if I don't have a flower, I'm going to soak here. Melee 2 soaks here. Melee 1 would soak here. If you're dropping a flower, just make sure after you drop, you move out. You can still hit the boss from there. And you're either going to use a tank LB, or you're going to throw a bunch of mitigation at it, and just ignore the rest of the mechanic. And that's it. That's the whole fight. After that, there's just a few repeat mechanics. Bloom 1 repeats, and then there's like spreads and a stack and some AoEs. The boss will likely be dead by then, though. Sorry I don't have footage for this, but the boss died. What can I say? If you have any questions, let me know below. If this was helpful, let me know below. If it wasn't helpful, well, I don't know why you're still here. Have a good one. Bye-bye.